Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring.
I admire you when my living has a limit of desire to keep it going. I'm just knowing that my time with you makes a difference. How I'm feeling when I vibe with you. They can't divide us two. We got a bond like 007, right? Even on Devil's Night, you show me what the heavens like. Go ahead and spread your light, though I can barely see. I know you're there with me, my personal therapy. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be your sanctuary, yeah. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be your sanctuary. You inspire me, look at you crazy when you tell me you admire me. Not an example for anybody to try to be. We'll call you bluff, but I know you wouldn't lie to me. Just a surprise to me, we got a bond tight, no one can come between. I have respect for you, you have your love for me, and that's enough for me. All I need to get by, let me be the method to your Mary J. Blige. So many times I felt defeated, you always know the right thing to say for when I need it. I wanna do the same thing for you to keep it even. You can call me anytime, you don't ever need a reason. I'm right here with you, never could forget you. All the things that we've been through, everything we went through, hey, none of it was simple, but I'm right here with you. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be your sanctuary, yeah. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be your sanctuary.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8:01 a.m. You're listening to and you're watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Yes. Yeah. We got a real class. It's Thursday. The weather is It's slightly warm, but there is a chill in the air. The last time I looked outside, it was extremely gloomy. I don't know if the rain has started. I don't know if the rain will begin, but let's try to keep our hearts warm. We have good friends in here today. We've got returning guests, returning friends. This is a return episode. We got Monica on the ones and twos as the DJ. We got me behind the mic as your host. And on the dance floor, we have Cindy Del Cid and Simon Rodríguez. Good to see y'all. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We have to do your love and the topics that you need to hear. So you two are looking well. Good to see you guys.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here, as always.
Representing City of Aurora Youth Services.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the summer programming specifically. But to get things started, introduce yourselves briefly a little bit, real quick, where you're from and what you like about being in youth services.
So my name is Cindy Del Cid. As you introduced me, I'm the Youth Services Intern for the City of Aurora, and I've been working there for, I believe, a little over a month now. And what I love about working for the City of Aurora so far is that it's given me the opportunity to see the behind the scenes of things. I get to see more about how the city actually functions, and I also love seeing all the work that people put in to make the city a better place.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I think it's the third time on the show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break the record here. Simon Rodríguez, Youth Services Manager, City of Aurora. Getting close to 4 years now in this position that I absolutely love. And born and raised in Aurora. I mean, this is home. I love it. And I just have a deep appreciation for, as Cindy mentioned, folks behind the scenes, folks that you may not know or know what they do or ever hear about them, the unsung heroes that really make our city function. And when we say the city, think about when you're driving down the street, paved roads, when, God forbid, there's an emergency, firemen that show up to your house to save lives. We really encompass all that makes up our way of life in Aurora. We're just a small, part of that, right? But I think I've grown to appreciate so much our team, that really, as Cindy mentioned, helps make the city that we all love function, and function well too. I'll argue function well. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. There's always, I love the fact that it is a democratic process and that folks should and do have a voice in our democracy, right? In our city. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer why I love working for the city.
What's some of the biggest changes that youth services have made over the years, over your 4 years of being here?
Man, if you think about it, 4 years, half of which is during a global pandemic.
That's right.
And sometimes those changes have been to go a little bit, taking a few steps back. Right? As many people know, not just youth services for the City of Aurora, but many of our partner organizations that offer services for youth weren't able to do those in person or had to modify them dramatically. So we're almost starting from scratch in many ways, which is, I think, sometimes a good thing. You can, like many organizations, many businesses, they probably saw their formula of what they had pre-pandemic and then realized this might not work in this post or current pandemic era that we're living in. So, some of the changes you look at, even just modifying or changing completely the type of programs that we offer. I think it's very important, especially in what we do as far as serving our community, is to consistently have the conversations with them and do needs assessments, work with our partners, and really look at the landscape and ask ourselves, what do our youth need? And how are we meeting that need? And that's how we pivot or modify or completely change what we do.
Good morning, Aurora, to everybody. Jennifer Ryan Mayton is here. Good morning. William Miller III. Good morning, Aurora. Happy Thursday to you too, sir. Michelle Gums. Good morning. Victoria Hyla Maldonado. All of our friends are here. Saul Olivas.
Saul, great educator.
Big brother, big dog. Yes. The chat is so official. Good morning, Saul. Gloria Jurado, good morning to you, Aurora. Hope you will have a nice day today and have a blessed day today. Amen. Thank you very much for that. Erica Leon and Josie Mendoza Geller says, a quick good morning before I lose you, working off one bar in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
She's frequently tuning in from all kinds of different towns in the middle of nowhere in Illinois.
it's awesome.
And the internet is not good, but her dedication to the show is. We need to somebody hit the internet down there, man. Reset the button. That's how you do it.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So now you mentioned the changes, and we've had 2 years of being in a pandemic. In your tenure of being around for 4 years. So, besides the obvious fact that youth and staff are not able to get together and produce things during that time, how are we bouncing back out of that? What's the new driving force to shake that off and start something new?
Yeah, again, I think it all starts first with conversation. And that should be a constant, regardless if we're in a global pandemic or not, right? Consistently reviewing, look at the landscape. Our first, I like to call it like our comeback for youth services, was last September during our Youth and Family Resource Fair. That was our first event back in person. And obviously it was still a transition for many families to ask themselves, do we want to go out? I mean, we obviously followed all CDC guidelines, but there's still that hesitancy, and rightfully so, from parents, from students, from our educational leaders. And fast forward a little bit till today, it was really a few months ago where we decided with our partners, with our stakeholders, we're going to come back in person. We're going to do what we used to, but we're going to modify and change, because again, I feel any successful organization, if they're not changing with the times, especially during a global pandemic, what we've hopefully learned from this pandemic, then we're not going to grow. We're not going to see those services really meet the needs. And we know this, it goes without saying, the needs of our youth and families have altered in many ways due to the pandemic.
Right.
And we've also seen those numbers rise as far as how many folks require need. Everything from after school programming to food insecurity. We're on I think, consistent communication with the Northern Illinois Food Bank, Maria Wilkinson, Aurora Interfaith. I mean, they can tell you the need right now in the last few years for groceries and food for families is astronomical.
Cindy, what's your day-to-day like? What's your job? So take us through your morning. You wake up to crazy calls from Simon here telling you to do things. Does he throw you in the fire? Does he push you in the pool, as they say in the business?
No, thankfully it's a little bit more relaxed than that. Usually I come in and most of what my tasks consist of is marketing, promoting our summer programs, our summer camps, figuring out what the best way is to reach out to the families and to the youth, and like how can we spread that information out. So every day is kind of a little different, which is something that I really like. But every day I'm working on like different projects, reaching out to different people, getting conversations started.
Okay. So I see the outreach that takes place within the City of Aurora Youth Services seems to be kind of twofold. I see the posting and the flyers on social media, Facebook, what have you, and then I actually work next to Cindy at the food truck festival that just passed.
Yes.
So you guys have the in-person outreach.
Yep.
Which of the two is more effective for what you're trying to do and what we need to get done?
Good question.
I personally feel like it might be more of the digital reach, just because there's more people that we can reach that way rather than in person. And in person, it can be kind of hard sometimes when people don't come out. But I still think that both are equally important.
Agree.
Because word of mouth, is still really important to get the word out, and those people who are showing up and meeting with us in person, getting that information, can spread it out to their friends and family. So I think both are equally important, but I think the digital reaches further out.
I agree. I completely agree. We've that's always been an area of opportunity, I think, for us. Is how do we get information to our families? The simple question, but sometimes it's a lot harder. We live in a big city. Information travels fast. Sometimes if you're trying to get, for example, information on our summer programming to an entire school district. You're talking about thousands of families. How does this information get to all of them? And I agree. I think, on one hand, we also have younger generation parents who are like, hey, we can just scan a barcode and fill out our information online. Bam, we're done. We love that. At the same time, we don't underestimate, the old school way of putting up flyers. Right. You might go into a restaurant, into Treadwell or somewhere, and, oh, I didn't know they're having this. Let me scan that QR code really quick. We find ways to getting them to specific individuals, right? A lot of our parent groups in, District 131 and 129, because they're the ones sometimes that are the folks that have the abilities to connect directly to our families. I completely agree. We don't want to underestimate either both, but we do live in a technological world, and we can't underestimate that, especially.
Okay. Now, summer programming is our main topic to talk about today. What's some of it look like? You guys want to preview some of the things going on, and sites and locations are also of importance.
Absolutely. Do you want to share a little bit now?
So we have a variety of programs and camps coming up. We have a theater camp, for instance. Kids will be able to perform Frozen Junior. So that's really exciting. That movie was really popular amongst little kids. So now they have an opportunity to learn how to sing, dance, and act to all their favorite Frozen songs. Okay. Yep. And that will be taking place at Jefferson Middle School?
Yes, Jefferson Middle School, yes.
Jefferson Middle School, and that will be available to, correct me if I'm wrong, 3rd grade through 12th grade.
That is correct.
All right. Okay, yeah. She got her facts down. Down.
And again, in June, June starts, right? June 6th is the start date for many programming. As Cindy mentioned, we have bringing back a drama program under the direction of the legendary Arlene Hawks, Mama Hawks. 3rd through 12th graders will be able to perform Frozen Junior, right? They'll be able to build a snowman in July. See, I'm trying to be a comedian here. No, but I'm excited because just let it go and go audition. There we go. But anyway, so it'll take place at Jefferson Middle School. We do want to preface it's open to all Aurora students. You don't have to live within or on the west side. Jefferson Middle School is a West District 129 school, but it's for all Aurora kids. As long as you live in Aurora, you can go to our drama camp. We also have district-specific camps. We offer 4 camps, 1 in each school district. We have one in District 129, West Aurora schools at Hill Elementary. That one is full, but we do have a wait list. But we have more opportunities. We have also District 308. It's at Homestead Elementary. That's part of Oswego School District, but it's located in Aurora. That one also is currently full, but we do have a wait list. Yeah. However, the other 2, we still are taking applications. For District 204, Indian Prairie, we're going to be at Gombert Elementary. And then for East Aurora School District 131, we're going to be at St. Joseph Parish on the east side. Now, St. Joseph, although it's not a District 131 school or site, it is open to District 131 families. All our camps, those camps are 1st through 5th graders. All the information, again, is online. We'll share the link to our summer programming. Again, they start June 6th and go through June 30th. So that's just for the month of June. Okay. Now, we also have 2 other programs, if I may share.
Sure, absolutely.
And then maybe you can talk about STEAM Academy. I'll talk about the food program.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We want to split up, so we're making sure that we're sharing all the information. So one thing that we're also offering to make sure that we meet the needs of our families, and we look at the issue of food insecurity. We, as well as the Fox Valley Park District, have partnered with the Northern Illinois Food Bank to offer for their program called Meals on the Move. Meals on the Move is this awesome initiative of having Monday through Friday free meals for any youth 18 and younger. Show up, no registration, no identification. 18 and under, show up, you get a free meal at the park. We're going to be at 4 parks throughout the week. And again, so we're going to be at Phillips Park and McCarty Park on the east side, and then Blackhawk Park and Greenfield Park on the west side. So again, we'll share the website with all the information on dates and times. That also begins June 6th and it's going to run all the way through, I believe, August 12th, if I'm not mistaken, all the way through August. And then on Fridays, young 18 and under will also have the opportunity to get free groceries for their families. So all that information is on our website in English and Spanish. So please take advantage of that. Go on a nice day to the park and get a free meal.
Awesome. That's great.
And then you want to talk about the STEAM Academy?
And so then we have our STEAM Academy program in which we partner with APS and Tinkerworks. And they have a variety of courses for a variety of grades from, I believe it's kindergarten and then up until, I believe it's 8th grade. They have courses, and then also 6th grade and above until 12th grade can also volunteer to help out with these courses.
Okay.
And they have a lot of really interesting topics that they teach the students about, like robotics, computer-aided design, 3D printing, and there was one more, coding.
Yep, you got it.
Good.
So yeah, really interesting courses that the students could take, and it's available to everyone free of charge.
Yep.
That's Benavides STEAM Academy?
No. So I just clarify. The Benavides STEAM Academy is a District 131 school. This is the Aurora STEAM Academy that was created in conjunction with the organizations that she mentioned.
Okay.
It's year round, but in the summer is when we're opening up even more courses. Again, 1st through 8th grade courses, and then we do have opportunities for volunteers if you love STEM related components. 100% free.
Okay.
And
I was unfamiliar. I forgot that there's an Aurora STEAM Academy now.
Yep. So that's year round, and again, it's free for families. And again, on our link, we'll take you directly to the registration link for the STEAM Academy. It's starting in it's year round, but we're starting up our summer courses in June, and we're going to be running those all summer long at various locations throughout the city, which is nice. So we have a downtown Aurora location at APS. We're going to be at Sacred Heart Church. We're going to be at Main Baptist Church. And then we're going to be at several sites that we're currently working with our partners on getting. So really excited about that.
The time is 8:19 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We have our dear friends Simon Rodríguez and Cindy Del Cid, once again representing the city of Aurora Youth Services, here with us today. Joe Jackson is here in the chat. Good morning, Joe Jackson. Good morning, Tracy Duran. Good morning, Josue Pais. And Monica put the links to the summer camp programs.
Great, thank you.
And to the youth services link on the city's website in the chat as well for anybody to take a look at. Awesome. Norma Peterson's here. Good morning, GAMS fam. We are in the house. And Tracy Duran, what is up with you? Okay, now listen, I got to do this real quick thing. Monica, please take me to a commercial. Take a brother to a commercial. A brother's now in a commercial. See, now they're looking at the beautiful city and they're hearing my voice. Okay, I got news for you guys about Memorial Day. Let me find my Memorial Day story. Aha, here it is. Okay, our American Legion Band is performing a free concert Memorial Day weekend. The Aurora American Legion Band performed this concert at 3 p.m. on the 28th at West Aurora High School. So that's what, Saturday, right? Saturday? When's the 28th?
Yeah.
Saturday, that's right. At West Aurora High School, Roosevelt Aurora American Legion Post 84 has partnered with the Legion Band to stage the concert. The band has been in rehearsal during the winter and spring to prepare for its 85th season. Lord have mercy. This concert is being hosted by the Roosevelt Aurora American Legion Post 84 to honor service members currently serving around the globe. Shout out to Representative Stephanie Kifowit. Shout out to Mike Eckberg, the commander of the post. In 1937, this is a quote by Commander Eckberg. In 1937, a pair of World War I veterans from Roosevelt, Post 84, formed a cadet band comprising of high school musicians. It is our honor to host the band's first concert post-pandemic and bring back the patriotic songs that everybody in the community will enjoy. Close quote. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to I will not make any of you jealous with my great singing abilities.
Beautiful.
We'll get back to the news here. Yes, the time is it's 8:22. Okay. Aurora Regional Fire Museum news. The weather may be a bit gloomy now, but sunny days are around the corner. Celebrate the upcoming summer weather with with the Fire Museum at their upcoming barbecue fundraiser. Oh gosh, food this early in the morning. I could do it right now. Brisket, rib tips for breakfast. This is going to be June 8th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 each and include your choice of meat, half chicken, 2 pork chops, or a combo. Meals are served with applesauce, coleslaw, beans, and a roll. Grab your dinner and consider purchasing a meal to donate to a first responder as well. The first responders like work there though. So y'all gonna go there, get them a meal. Like, you know what? Yeah, get number 3 with a large Coke. Ashley Nichols is here. Good morning, Ashley Nichols. And Marianne Frosto. Good morning to all you great people. The time is 8:23. You're listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We're here to talk about City of Aurora Youth Services.
Yes.
Okay, so sticking with our summer programming, but I do want to talk about the tech aspect a little bit here though too. Once upon a time, in one of our conversations, you mentioned, to paraphrase, I can't quote right now, but to paraphrase, tech and new tech and monies for tech are always an issue. Resources,
right,
funding, and things like that.
Right.
Have those issues now? When we had that conversation, that's when the pandemic was still going on.
Right.
Now we're in a much better place. I'd like to think we're coming out of that. How are things on that front? Has funding been a little bit easier? Do we have more is tech easier to acquire for us, or
right.
What's things looking like?
That's a great question, Curtis. So, yes and no to answer your question. We're still facing, and I think this is not a new issue with youth service providers. Obviously, the pandemic amplified anything that we're facing as an issue, but funding is still always an area of concern. We have a lot of wonderful partners that service our youth, right? Talked about APS already. Alive Aurora. I know they're big fans of the show and have been on here multiple times. The library, Simply Destiny. I mean, I could go on and on about the wonderful partners that we have in our community, all our educational partners. Funding is always an issue, right? A lot of our partners and organizations, do rely on grant funds.
Right.
While there are a lot of opportunities for grants, we actually, out of our office, our community development, the city of Aurora, actually out of our office, not youth services, but community services as a whole, actually offers 2 grant opportunities for nonprofits, not just the ones that serve youth, but in different capacities. We have our quality of life grants, and we also have our CDBG grants.
Community Development Block Grant.
Look at you. It's
the news.
And obviously, during the pandemic, one thing that did open up were opportunities for folks to utilize these dollars and kind of stretch them out and have a little bit more wiggle room, right? Because of the pandemic gave us the opportunities to do so. But at the same time, we actually just met the other day, the state of Illinois, through the ARPA, initiative, received millions in grants specifically for funding youth programming. But there's always the catch or the requirements. And we're starting to see that, unfortunately, many organizations, including, the City of Aurora Youth Services, do not qualify sometimes for these types of grants because you have to, for example, provide programming for X amount of hours year round. You have to have, facilities. A lot of issues that we face. Transportation is a huge one. I think we talked about that in the past. Logistics. We might have a facility, we might have excellent program, but how do we get our kids there? Right. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all public schools in Aurora now have public busing, which is amazing. But that doesn't I guess get our kids to after school programming outside of school. Park District, Aurora Township. They do have some busing capabilities, but on a wide scope, we don't have that opportunity. That's something that we're actually looking into. So I think that's always going to be a concern for many organizations. And a lot of our partners, how do we get them the resources to know how to apply for a grant? anyone listening in, grant writing is very meticulous. It's very time consuming. A lot of our partners rely on volunteers, to help. So it is a huge ask for many of us to look at, this is how much we need to fund our programming and help our kids and our families. But we also are asking for volunteers. And like anything during the pandemic, it is very difficult to get volunteers. So that's something that we do struggle. The human capital for nonprofits is always an issue. And I think more so now during the pandemic. We can go on and on about the different issues. I don't know if there's anything that you've seen, but it's just, I feel that there are restrictions and limitations that unfortunately many of our partners then have to look elsewhere for funding, for resources.
Under the auspices, with youth services being under the auspices of the city, is the city able to facilitate, get rid of, quote unquote red tape, or help speed things up, or does the city create its own alternatives to help you?
Right.
If you don't qualify for?
Absolutely, yeah. I think so. I think there's always, obviously there's a lot of support for not just what we do, but again, I constantly bring up our partners, because a lot of what we do is working with 40, 50, organizations that serve our youth and our families.
Like the resource fair at the
exactly.
Prisco Center and all that.
And the thing to also look at, Curtis, is things have obviously changed over the years as far as how we serve our youth, or the types of programming that are needed. For example, when I came in, I did a quick audit to see what are people doing and try to fill those gaps.
Right.
At the same time, working with our partners and saying, oh, hey, Simply Destiny has a great thing going on right now with what they do. How can we, or how can our partners not only partner with them, but also support them?
Right.
What they're doing works. We don't need to replicate it. It's good, and that exists in for many organizations. So I think that's the bigger picture too, is consistently looking at it in a form of an audit. What are we doing? What do we need to do? Who's doing it? What do they need to continue being successful?
Okay.
And I think, and I see that being a huge undertaking for youth services, is how can we support these organizations? How can we connect them? How can we get them information on grants? Because if they're successful, if places like Simply Destiny and Alive Aurora and the Fire Museum and APS and all these other wonderful organizations, if they are successful, that means we are successful. That means our youth and our families are receiving top quality programming.
Right. Jasmine, good morning to you. Amen to that. Norma Peterson says amen to that. Cindy Morales, good morning, dear friend. Good to see you. Katie L. Simpson Conklin, good morning to you as well. So now I kind of want to focus, and again in the realm of our programming and everything we're talking about, but to address certain things in the community.
Yes.
Seems to have been a couple of areas that have been the lack of lifeguards for this park district.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears an apparent lack of staff for some of our services.
Yeah.
I don't know if youth services is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've got a great team member here.
Yeah.
But my question is the lack of community members or workers,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the park district is separate from what you're doing.
Right.
But is this lack of workers or perceived lack of workers becoming a problem now? And will it be an issue? I know that you guys got great summer programming coming up, but should the residents and the parents in Aurora be worried that there's no staff to staff it?
Mm-hmm. I'll let you start off, because I know that's a huge issue that we want to talk about, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, well, our camps are coming up soon, and we're still looking for employees to help run those camps. And I do think that it is a bit of a concern, because we need staff, and we need enough staff so that the kids are safe, and everybody is where they're supposed to be. So I definitely think it's a really important topic. And I do think it's an area for concern at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And across the board, you mentioned the Park District. I actually had a wonderful conversation the other day with a good friend of mine, Ivan Chambers, with the Park District. They're facing a similar situation that we are. We are having it's an exceptional year, and with that, a lot of our partners, a lot of organizations are struggling to find staffing for their camps. And then when we look at our camps or other programs, our camps, we always first try to hire out staffing from the schools that we're at, teaching staff and support staff. They know their buildings, they know their kids, they're already trained. We respect the work they do, and we rely on them in many ways to help us with curriculum, and activities and such. It's been a tough year, and this goes without saying. It's probably the most obvious statement today. It's been a tough year for our educators. It's been a tough year for our support staff and our educational leadership. With that comes the struggle of, can we find enough staff, for our summer? The good news is we do have enough staff to have camps, but there could very well be, restrictions as far as how many kids we can allow in our camps, because we always want to make sure that the ratio, the adult to student ratio, is enough that it's safe and it's effective. Obviously, we know with Park District, with the Phillips Park Aquatic Center and finding lifeguards. One of the things we want to do is we want to be proactive. Obviously, right now we're talking about it, but Cindy did a phenomenal job, for an example, of us having a hiring event with students at East Aurora High School. We're working with Bridging the Gap organization to hopefully have that next week, and really do like a last minute just push, right? And again, for various reasons, but we're here to say, if you love working with kids, we still want to hire you. It's a great, meaningful job. I used to work summer camp positions, and I love them. Same thing with all the wonderful programs that the Park District has, right? I used to be a Park District employee as well, and know the value in us providing, quality programming, sports, camps, swimming, huge. We want this to be a meaningful summer for our kids. But with that, we need, everyone to kind of jump in and say, if we got young people that want to work and want to have a meaningful experience, we're helping, and we want to get you there. But at the link that Monica shared, that has all the information on our summer programming, also has the link for you to apply to work at one of our camps.
Summer programming begins June 6th.
Yes.
And that's for all days. Some of the great camps, as mentioned, are going to be the theater camp, presenting Frozen Junior at Jefferson Middle School.
Yes.
That's just one example of the great camps that you guys have coming up. All right. And then there's also going to be district-specific camps for 129, 308, 204, 131.
Correct.
As well.
Yes.
All right, the time is 8:35. If you guys have any questions, put those in the chat. Maria Chirito is here. Peter Aguilera. Alvin Soto. Shout out to my boy Alvin Soto and AP Dizzle. That's APD. Monica, if you could, can you please take us to a commercial? Would you give us some news and bring us back?
Sure. I guess. All right. Good morning, everyone. Here are your local headlines. Real news, real people, real stories, 100% Aurora. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our content. There you can also watch all of our interviews and receive notifications when we go live. Aurora Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has their Young Professionals Networking event taking place this Friday, May 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. The cost is $35 per person and will take place at Bureau Gravity, located at 56 South LaSalle Street, and I'll be sharing that registration link with you all in our chats. The 15th Annual Health Fair is taking place on Saturday, June 11th from 9 a.m. to noon, hosted by the Aurora African American Health Coalition and in partnership with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. This great event will take place at Prisco Center, located at 150 West Illinois Avenue. This event is free and open to the public. There will also be giveaways, speakers, vendors, and health screenings at no cost. This will be a great community event for the entire family. Also, the Village Food Pantry is open at Village Baptist Church to anyone in need. Village Baptist is located at 515 South Frontenac Road, A photo ID is required, and the pantry is open the second and fourth Friday of each month from 9:30 to 11 a.m. Come as early as 8:30 a.m. and enjoy coffee and donuts. Also join them for Sunday worship as well. And for more information, feel free to call 630-851-4120.
All right. Thank you very much. Norma Peterson says, I thought they rescheduled that. I think that's that Bureau of Gravity thing. They probably did. Norma Peterson. Yeah. So we'll that's ancient history. Ancient history on the show too. How about that? Yeah. Oh, that's old news.
That was from last year.
Remix. Okay. And before we come back on camera, let me tell you guys about the Fit for Kids community garden plots as well. Community garden plots are once again available to Kane County residents for a small fee at the Kane County Fit for Kids community gardens on the 1300 block of North Highland Avenue in Aurora. The site includes 100, check this out, y'all. Now, listen. The site includes 105 individual 10-foot by 15-foot plots available for $17.
Okay.
For the 2022 growing season. That's through October 31st. How about that? They started more than a decade ago. They are an effort to reduce the rate of childhood obesity by providing access to affordable fresh fruits and vegetables to all Kane County residents. Families are responsible for maintaining their garden by planting, weeding, watering, and harvesting. Yeah, that'll stop obesity. Get out there and work. Huh? I said, that's right. 6 feet. Grab that mulch. Or maybe that's just my parents.
I'm gonna say like my grandpa taught my dad and my dad taught me how to plant, and it was a very meaningful experience. And to this day we grow like our own vegetables and some fruits and stuff, and I wish that's kind of like a lost art, but I also know that there's, you know, some folks don't even have the space to plant or the education, right? I think that'd be a very meaningful experience, you know?
Right.
I wonder if there's abilities for folks to sponsor plots for
sure
families.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Yeah, and also that brings me into, actually, thank you, Marie Wilkinson's Food Pantry. I forgot to give you guys this news. So right now, or coming up, there is the drop-off Father's Day gathering, or Father's Day toiletry drop-off and drive going on, of which Good Morning Aurora is just one of many locations.
Awesome.
So things like toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant. Whose dad doesn't have deodorant? Shaving razors, hair care. Some dads are bald, but you know, we do what we can. They got a brush here. Yeah. So this is going from June 1st to the 30th. The locations are here at Good Morning Aurora, 5 East Downer Place, Suite T, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. State Farm Office at 2003 Montgomery Road, Suite 101. State Representative Barbara Hernandez's office, 540 West Galena Boulevard, and Marie Wilkinson's Food Pantry, 834 North Highland Avenue in Aurora. So get your drop off on.
Awesome.
Okay. So it's 8:40. So here's a question for you. What has been, is there a greatest hits amongst these summer programs? Is there a program where all the kids are like, bring back this program, man. We want this program.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think I talked about this the first time we were on. I worked under youth services under Fred Rogers in high school as the high school staff, right? We used to employ, youth services used to employ like 40 plus youth staff for the summer.
Right.
And I remember the summer camps at that time. It must have been like every week. Fred Rogers was amazing, and man, I love that man. But he used to say, I remember when we started working, he's like, hey, every Friday, we're going to take the kids to Phillips Park, and we're going to have like a big festival. Every Friday. It wasn't just like one big culminating event.
Right.
Every Friday, we bussed all the kids from all the camps. I mean, close to 1,000 kids at Phillips Park, and they had bouncy houses and burgers on the grill and live music, and I mean, kids loved that, you know. And we used to, so that was big. And obviously, you know, we want to start to look at things that we used to do in the past and kind of bring them, you know, for our camps. Actually, this summer, we're going to do something similar to that, which I'm really excited about. You know, the drama camp, you know, there's wonderful theater programs that the Paramount School of the Arts is doing, the Park District, my friend Nick is doing amazing things with Summer Stage, and we're doing ours as well. So I think theater is obviously very popular. Arts in general is a great safe space for youth. And I mean, some of the things that you were talking about, like what are some of our greatest hits, we're still doing. We've never stopped. Okay. Aurora Sports Festival. This was our Cindy's first experience at a big event that we have. Sports Festival. So we just celebrated our 28th year this year. For those listening in, maybe you were in Sports Festival back in the day. 28 years tradition started by Al Miller, great Al Miller, who started a lot of our sports programs at the for youth services. So stuff like that we really care about tradition. We care about things that work. Why change them? Right. And so that's what we want to keep doing. Right. Is things that work, keep them going, but also looking at, is there anything we did in the past? I know one thing that we're kind of looking at right now is we used to do what was called Hoops on Fire. It was a 3-on-3 basketball program for youth. And we did that throughout the summer. And we're looking at doing something similar, hopefully this year, if not definitely for next year, working with some partners.
Was that the Gale Street location, township?
I don't know if it was there before, but I remember when I was working as a youth staff, we used to have it at the Spring and Lincoln location, the parking lot right behind the train station, where they have Fiestas Patrias, or where they've had Fiestas Patrias. Okay. We used to bring just all the world's heaviest basketball hoops, and I'm talking about like 500-pound basketball hoops. I don't know how we did it, but we got them to the park, and now we use those for Sports Fest. And I know Gio Santana and our parks team does a phenomenal job, but they have all the equipment to bring them. We used to do stuff like that. We're looking into soccer programming. One thing that I will say is soccer is probably by far, I'll argue, the most popular sport in Aurora, and the fact that we don't have right now open space for kids to play soccer. You either have to be in a school, you have to be in a league, indoor league. Those could be costly. So that's something that we're looking at as a need in our community, to hopefully have facilities for kids to just show up and play soccer.
Our friend, I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, of course.
Friend Jasmine says, OMG, I was in Sports Festival at Jewel Middle School.
Jewel, nice.
Checkers champion 2 years in a row. Oh, snap.
Good job, Jasmine.
Hey.
Hopefully she got a medal, because we do medals. And yeah, we for Sports Festival, I think like 12 competitions or something. It was good.
I think so.
Yeah. Always looking at improving and growing with that. We brought some folks down to look at how we can be more accessible for kids with any type of disability. So we really want to be progressive with the Sports Fest and open up to as many of our kids as possible.
So what we need are people to sign up, and what we need people to choose a role doing the work, or employment opportunities. Right,
absolutely.
With the summer camps.
Right. Okay. I mean, have a meaningful summer. Get paid to do something meaningful. I've always felt that sometimes when we find value in what we do and we get paid for it, it's a wonderful experience.
Right.
So any adults out there, your kids are looking for a job. City of Aurora, we're hiring for our summer camps. Park District's hiring. We want to get folks trained and lifeguarding. I mean, it's a wonderful, very important role, and we can keep some of our facilities open this summer.
You guys do the training?
We don't. The Park District does.
Oh,
right? I'm just speaking on behalf of them, because I know that
I was about to say, y'all do that too?
We do the training for our camps, right? Obviously, yeah. I'm talking about the lifeguard is for is Park District, but for all our jobs, we do the training, we do the background checks, we get you all ready and good to go to work with our youth. And I want to preface, the youth staff works under our camp coordinators. Our summer camp coordinators, each site has a coordinator, is usually always a teacher or a certified staff from that school. So they're the ones that kind of help run the program. All our programs include free field trips. It includes free meals. Thank you to the Northern Illinois Food Bank again for being a great partner. And everything is included, everything free, as Cindy mentioned. These are free programming. Sign your kids up. And this is for the month of June. In a bit, I want to give you guys are going to be the first to hear about our plans for July. This is going to be the first moment, so we'll get to that. Remind me to mention that.
We got the breaking news for that. Yeah, we can do that.
So we will do that. Anything else that you want to add about the sports? Or, sorry, the summer programs?
Just that, it's a really exciting opportunity. I know we already talked about the pandemic. 2 years of basically like being isolated and not having that opportunity to socialize with other students. So I think this is a great opportunity for all Aurora youth to get involved and to have a fun summer instead of being at home, having a boring time, or being like glued to a tablet or phone.
Yeah.
So.
And our programs, just to give you a picture, for some parents, we haven't had it in 2 years. Maybe they forgot, or maybe they've never had their kids sign up for our summer camp programs. While they're in the school, it's not like the regular school day. We have fun activities. We bring a lot of our partners. We bring the library to do some fun reading programs. We bring in APS is going to be doing some cool robotics. Kids are going to learn how to make their own little robots and stuff like that. We're bringing in the park district to do some programming as well. So we're bringing in partners to also do programs within our program, right?
Okay.
And they'll have field trips, which again, I think field trips sometimes is a lost art. Kids can get out and see things, right? And all that in between. And again, we will feed. There'll be a food program as well. So it's a great time, as Cindy mentioned, to get our kids, out of the house and to be active and engaged and meet new friends or hang out with your current friends, right? So if you have not signed up, please, parents, por favor, pueden registrar hoy. Like, please register today. We have this service for your kids. I know it's been 2 years, so sometimes, folks don't know if we're having something or not. We are having summer programming, and we want your kids there.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, I hope that people realize how important these kind of opportunities are. Personally, I attended several summer camps when I was younger, and I still hold a lot of like great memories from those times. And I just hope that people realize that this is something that their kids can take away for many years to come. And it really is just a really great experience.
Absolutely. And, as an educator, proud educator, taught 5 years at East Aurora High School, my alma mater, go Tomcats. Something that we always talk about is learning loss. Our kids are they have all this content that they're learning throughout the year. But they're tired, our teachers are tired. In the summertime, we're like, how can we take those concepts that they learned, but integrate them into fun activities, into active, fun activities. And that's another thing, is we want parents to know there is a thing called learning loss. We don't want kids to have all this content knowledge and then they stay home during the summer and kind of it doesn't retain. We just know in life, when you constantly practice and put concepts into your everyday life, you retain it, right? You don't learn an instrument. I know you were in band. You don't play an instrument all year round. In the summertime, you just put it away, and then, oops, now I'm like struggling. Why am I not being able to be as good as I was during the school years? Because we want to. It's the same thing. When you practice something consistently, you retain it, and that's, I think, a big focus also in our summer camps.
Griselda Chavo Gonzalez is here. Good morning to you, Griselda. Okay, now I asked yesterday pretty cool question, so I'm gonna run it back because I didn't get the response I actually thought when I was gonna get yesterday. Whatever. So I'll give it to you. Magic wand. This is a magic wand. They can't see it. If you could magic wand something that youth services needs or could benefit from,
okay,
what would you magic wand?
Oof. Where do I start? The first thing that comes to mind is transportation. Picture this. Again, I think our schools do a phenomenal job of getting our kids to and from school. I know a lot of schools have like after school busing, so if you stay after school for a sport activity, you can still get home. Awesome. What if we had a dedicated bus route? Same way we have either PACE or school buses, whatever the case is, dedicated bus routes year round that goes to specific neighborhoods, specific areas, picks you up and can take you to downtown Aurora for all of APS and Simply Destiny and Alive, take you to the Park District facilities, take you to the Aurora Township facilities, take you to almost all the different programming that we have throughout our wonderful city. I know a lot of our partners would benefit from that. I know all of our youth, we all would benefit from a dedicated bus route for youth. That's the first thing I would want to do with my little magic wand, is ensuring that transportation is not a barrier. We know it is. We've done studies, we've done needs assessments, and we've spoken to our partners.
Right.
We need to get our kids to and from our programs after school. Our parents work. There might not be a vehicle at home at the time. There's all these barriers and factors that we know living in our community. So that would be one of my first magic wand ideas, which is something that we actually are having the conversation on. It's not an impossibility.
Right.
There are municipalities and cities that have implemented something similar and have seen a huge success in youth participation, in a reduction of crime and gang activity. We know this. It's a simple formula. When our youth are involved and engaged, they stay away from the garbage that's out in our community. Things that many of us have fought a lot throughout the 90s, early 2000s, when we saw in 2002 close to 30 young people lose their lives to senseless gang violence. 10 years after that, we had 0 homicides in Aurora. It works when we come together and see the need and see the barriers, and we go through those and say, here's how we can get our kids into these programs. These programs work. Simply Destiny works. Library, all of the programs that I mentioned to you, it works. We just need to support them. And one way is to make sure that we can get our kids to and from these programs.
What comes most immediately to my mind is the trolley system that we have. It
Yeah.
operates on First Fridays.
Yeah. It gets you
like-
to all of these cool.
it's
I
shut
love
up,
the trolley. It's
right?
awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I'd make it like running for the kids.
Yeah. I
During
mean,
the day,
there are ways, and we can talk to partners and look at grant opportunities, which is, again, we are starting, to look at that.
Right.
We have actually started looking at that for a while. I'd make sure that, we have safe space. Space is sometimes an issue. Again, we have organizations that have wonderful opportunities, but they don't have the adequate space.
Right.
We do know, and it's been known already, it's been publicized, that we have the Boys and Girls Club of Aurora that's going to start. Ultimate goal, or not ultimate, one of the big goals is to have an actual physical building that'll be housed within a community that we can get folks to. Another Aurora Housing Authority and others are working on community centers. I'm big on community centers. Areas, being very meticulous and looking at neighborhoods, where can we open? At-Risk Mentoring just announced that they have going to open a community center in the hometown neighborhood. All of these wonderful ideas, how can we support them? How can we make it so kids can just literally walk across the street, walk to a facility after school, and get quality, life-saving programming? So that'd be my second magic wand. How can we ensure that there is a community center, a resource center, somewhere where kids can go within their own neighborhoods? We're looking at relaunching and opening up programming at the Taking Back Our Community, Grand Boulevard Center, bringing in programming there. So there's wonderful opportunities to identify where the needs are, which neighborhoods, and where, if there's partners out there that say, hey, I have a building you might be interested in, we'd love to look at that, or we'd love to bring in partners to look at that. So I think those would be the two areas. I'm curious to know what you think as far as, what you'd want to do.
Yeah, well, Simon and I have talked about this before, but I wish there was more events for youth. And what I mean by that, outside of the programs and all the services that all of our great partners and organizations and even like the city of Aurora provides. There's all these young people in Aurora going to Chicago for all these like music festivals and other types of festivals, going over there to spend money or doing all of these things. So I wish we had more things like that here in Aurora for, our community members to enjoy here as well. And a lot of the musical performances that we've had in Aurora in the past aren't, at least in my opinion, aren't specifically geared towards the youth. So bringing more of that to Aurora would be something that, if I had a magic wand, that's what I would do.
Yeah, Blues for the Fox it's not really for the young people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's more for, our dads and our
Yeah,
parents.
they're the ones up like dancing, so we're just like, okay, go,
Yeah.
do you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Bruce Springsteen, Dad. What the
I want to echo that too because we've actually, we with the city of Aurora, we run the Aurora Youth Council, representatives from every high school in Aurora.
Right.
Having conversation yesterday, we went with some of my former students that have, a wonderful idea of having these types of events, but they all said the same thing. I'm like, man, I wish there were more events geared for youth. Music happens to be one of them. Like, why can't there be festivals or concerts for us? In the arts, the arts have grown exponentially. I think, Jen Evans and a lot of folks, Marissa Moni, a lot of folks that looked at like the opportunities of having art-related events in Aurora. And, I brought it up to these young folks and I'm like, how can we maybe partner with existing events and make them more geared towards our youth? We have these youth entrepreneurs, we have Pre-Mill, we have the new facility just opened over here. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, right next to All Spoked Up.
Undisputed Vintage?
Yes, Undisputed Vintage, thank you. I'm seeing all of these wonderful, young, brilliant entrepreneurs that are utilizing, retro clothing and shoes and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, I need to get a pair of Jordans that I had growing up, so I got to get on that. But, how do we uplift them? How do we create a space where they feel that they're also a part of the growth that is happening, not just in downtown, but in Aurora as a whole? And I agree with Cindy. I think how can we bring some of our stakeholders, but bring our youth to the table? That's the thing. I'm 35 years old. I have an idea, but I want to bring the experts like Cindy, like our youth, and say, what do you guys want? What would you like to see? And then how can we possibly make that happen?
Right. It's our job to, as people who are older, it's our job to just support it.
Absolutely.
If it's looking good, just make sure it keeps running good,
Exactly. Exactly.
So actually the time is 8:58. So the last question for you guys is we're from June 6th is the start date.
Mm-hmm.
That's all camps, right?
Yes.
And that's all locations too.
Correct.
Okay, all districts. The district-specific camps start on the same date?
Yeah. So the 4 camps that we have are June 6th. They're going to start on Monday.
Okay.
Obviously, if there's a change or something, with building issue, we run into some issues this year. Obviously, bringing everything back in person.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's changes, we'll notify like the families that are already signed up. But June 6th is the scheduled date for all those 4 camps, as well as the drama camp to start.
Okay.
Through June 30th.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Making sure that we had our dates right.
Yep. And then again, on the link that Monica shared, it's the Aurora summer programming one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go there, all the information for all the camps, the drama camp, all the other camps, as well as the free food program, the Meals on the Move, our Aurora STEAM Academy, and hiring information if you're interested in applying. All that information is on one page. And we're going to constantly update because if I can plug in or something really quick before we finish.
Oh, yeah. Don't stop it. Plug away.
So this is actually breaking news, right?
Oh, hit
oh, we have I should have queued earlier, right? I'm sorry. Awesome. So breaking news. First, we've been talking to some partners. We're excited, and the information is forthcoming. But we will launch for the first time ever in the month of July a free downtown Aurora summer camp for youth. The way we've done our June camps, we've realized they end in June 30th. We have a small little break, 4th of July weekend, and then we'll pick back up on July 5th. Okay. That Tuesday. More information is going to come out on the website that Monica shared, as well as our City of Aurora Facebook page and City of Aurora Youth Services page. We will have the opportunity working with partners, and we're going to have youth in downtown Aurora at 4 locations where they'll be able to go to all 4 locations. It's going to be a free camp, free meals, free lunch provided, and the opportunity for our youth to be in downtown. We want our youth to be more here, right, in this beautiful growing space that we call downtown Aurora. So July downtown Aurora summer camps information will be out in the next few weeks, but I just wanted to let our listeners know to please continue to monitor our City of Aurora summer programming page. We'll have information and registration information up once we get our June camp started first.
All right, feeling that.
Yes.
Feeling that. All right. So the show ends on a positive note, as you guys know. What's your message today? We've delivered a lot of messaging today. What's your message today to the listeners and the people of Aurora for Thursday?
Well, I said this last time I came on, but I'll say it again because I think it's important. I think that people should take advantage of all these opportunities that are available to them, and take the opportunity to really get engaged with their community. And for the students, they have their community at school, but this is an opportunity to connect with the greater Aurora community.
Right.
I'm just so grateful to live in a city full of people that genuinely care about each other. I've always believed it takes a village. As Cindy mentioned, my parents growing up, we couldn't afford a lot of programming, but I was able to take advantage of the free camps from the city of Aurora Township. It really did change my life. And so without these amazing, passionate, genuine people behind the scenes, our folks at Cities and Schools, our educational leadership team, some of our aldermen have stepped in when we had issues and to help out. Patty Smith, I'm talking about you. Thank you so much. It's beautiful that we have a village that cares about our youth. And I want to talk directly to our parents that are listening. We have these wonderful opportunities for our youth. We want them to stay out of trouble. We want them to be on the right path. This is one of the ways that we can do that. And if there's anything we can do, if there's anything that we can, change, we want your input. But please, let's keep our kids active and engaged this summer. And we'll continue to provide programming that you deserve, that our kids deserve. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Well, Christine Walker, hello. This was a great episode. We appreciate you guys coming back on the show. This was a lot of fun. We're always happy to help get the word out about what you guys are doing. For all of you great listeners, have a great positive day today. Tune in tomorrow because we got a lot of things to talk about. It's Friday, so it's going to be the end of the week. That's a wrap. Take care of yourself and each other.
Yes.